Hello, guys. How are you all? Welcome back to the RCBian Chelsea Fan TV. And yes, we are back with the Euros. But as you saw in that video, we have been missing Chelsea, right? Especially the Blue fans, I'm sure. And that video, yes, gave me goosebumps as well. Looking at how we won the Champions League, and we have discussed two rounds of Euros, and today we are back for the third round. Yes, the group stages has just gotten over, and it is time to get back with the panel which I love. And I believe we discussed the first round. The firstly, we have Ameya here. Ameya, how are you?
Yep, I'm pretty good. I'm really excited about the knockouts which kick off later today, so looking forward to that.
So how was your week, right? I know that it's been a long week considering that we didn't have games for the last 2 days, but I'm sure Euros are keeping you busy, generally speaking, right?
Yep, definitely. I mean, before, like when the Euros were going on, I never thought I'd miss them this much when they're gone. But it's football at the end of the day, and I think football is football in whichever form it is. And there's been no footballing action for 2 days, I think, for us. So I'm looking forward to the Euros and hopefully a pretty great stream as well. I know the last time we had it, I had loads of fun. This time I won't be able to stick around fully, so if I could just plug myself right now, I do have a YouTube channel called CFC Chats. So if you could search that on YouTube, it would pop right up, and we would appreciate it massively if you could give us a subscribe and watch our videos regularly, because we're gonna have some exciting content coming up. But yep, looking forward to this stream, man. Let's get on the other guests as well.
Good, good. So quickly, guys, I have all the descriptions updated. I think all the panelists, details are there. So definitely go and follow them, and definitely that's good stuff, right? So I'll just get the second panelist in time. So that is Taron. Hi, Taron. How are you? Good to have you back.
Hey, yeah, I'm really thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to get into this. Like Ameya said, the Rana 16 kicks off today. I'm really excited to watch Italy, versus Austria and Wales versus Denmark. I'm really gassed, and yeah, there was a lot of action from Chelsea players in this particular round of games we're going to be talking about. A particular player scored an absolute banger from outside the box. So we'll discuss all of that, and I'm just really excited to be on with Ameya, you, and Ishan. So yeah, what's not to love at the minute?
Absolutely. And guys, obviously last time we discussed about it, but definitely, Taron, if you'd like to speak about your podcast, great podcast, guys, definitely follow that. And Taron, over to you.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, I run a podcast called The Perfect Hatrick. We do daily Euros podcast talking about the 3 games or 2 games from the day before. We've had Ameya on there, we've had Ankit on there, and we could possibly get Ishan on there soon. And hopefully they enjoy to be on it, because I love having them on as guests. If any of you in the live chat wanna feature, just hit me up on Twitter. I think my username should be on the screen. If it's not, it's at CFC Taron. And yeah, we'll get you on for one of the episodes. Still have 14 left to go. So yeah, thanks for letting me talk about that. But yeah, it's quite a good podcast.
Absolutely disturbed. Yes, so I will definitely get a third guest, right? Last but not the least, it's Ishan. Ishan, great to have you actually. First time I'm meeting Ishan, and it's been a long time that I've seen you. Definitely, talking about Chelsea. So welcome to the stream, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me, Ankit. I'm getting excited, to go get on. It's my first day here in this channel, and I hope to feature more. It's always a pleasure to talk about Chelsea, and let's get going. Let the stream get going. Yeah.
Right, absolutely, and yeah, thanks for that. And guys, all the details are there below, so definitely give them a follow, because I think Ameya mentioned that he's kind of running short on time, so we'll probably start off with the first section quickly. So just give me a minute. Okay, so I'll start off with Taron, right? Taron, the reason I'm starting off with you is because we call someone called the Danish Maldini, right? So do you think Christensen is right up there? I think that pile driver of a shot or something else. Do you really think this guy is, really grown up and, to the likes of what John Terry once told, that he's going to be the next big thing? Is the time has come?
Yeah, I'm really happy for him. That goal, you could see the passion after the goal for Denmark. They did it for Eriksen first of all. That goal particularly was magical to watch. I mean, last season, if you remember back to the West Ham game where we lost 3-2, you saw Christensen that was really degraded. He was not high in confidence. He was not showing confidence. But under Tuchel, he's clearly gone up to him and said, I believe in you as a player. I know you're going to be one of the best defenders in the future. And he's put him into the middle of that pitch, when Thiago Silva was absent. And now Christensen feels that he is a big, big player for this club. And you can see the way he's playing, against all these big strikers he's coming up against in the CL final when he came on. It's not easy to come on in a game of that intensity. And he came on and just was absolutely spotless. He didn't put a foot wrong. And yeah, I think we always knew that Christensen has something special about him from the Conte days when, he came in and he replaced David Luiz, I believe. And then, a bit of Maurizio Sarri kind of didn't really start. And now he's come back to his best. So for me, I think Christensen, if he can work on his physicality just a little bit more and his kind of, ruthlessness, like, what I mean? And I think he's going to be one of the best defenders. And you can see why the club are reluctant to sell him. It's because his ball playing ability is second to none. His reading of the game is second to none, and his passion as well. So yeah, apart from his strength, he's a little bit weaker than me, we'll say, but he's still a great player.
Well, you had to get in there, right? Anyway, but yeah, I agree with you, Taron. Like totally. Like no, this guy. Honestly, I was one of the ones who was, calling out for Christensen being sent on a loan again. But no, he's probably the second name on the team sheet for me in defenders, right? After Rudiger, like the way things stand, like just on form alone. And yes, this guy was someone who was probably almost antisocial, say about a year ago, and now he's kind of bigging up, and he's the guy like probably a leader as well in Denmark side, and hopefully he'll lead them to the next stage as well. You never know, right? So I'll come to Ameya. Ameya, I think the controversial episode which happened in the last round was obviously our man, our youngster Ampadu. Unfortunately, he got the red card. I know me and Ameya had, Taron, had a chat on Taron's stream, and we thought that I thought that it wasn't a red card, and probably Taron thinks it was. What is your take, Ameya, on that?
Personally, I think it was too harsh. I mean, a yellow card probably was a fair enough decision for me, but a red card, I think it's a little bit too harsh. Pretty unlucky because he actually had a pretty decent game. I thought up until then he wasn't like poor per se. He wasn't excellent, but at the same time he was getting his job done in that position, and he was cutting out the passing lanes of the opposition and passing the ball pretty decently as well. This is probably the best that I've seen him play, like from last season, right? Because Sheffield United, what a horror show he had there. But then at the Euros, he's actually been pretty decent, and they're going to face each other tonight, aren't they? Oh, Ampadu will be suspended, I'm sorry, so probably won't get to face Christensen. But honestly, it was too harsh. Yep, I think I agree with you that it probably wasn't a red card for me.
Yeah, it was definitely a close call. I would say, it was a schoolboy error, as I call it, right? Obviously, you cannot just go with that and go with the benefit of him being very young. But
Yeah.
I get to an extent why the referee gave, but probably in such a big game at that stage, referee could have held on to his cards and probably given a yellow at best and given him a warning. But yeah, unlucky for him because I was really looking forward to him. And guys, before we kind of continue the conversation, obviously another youngster is Billy Gilmore. Great second game week that he had. Unfortunately, he is done with COVID, and hopefully he recovers soon. And we don't get to discuss him much this round, but hopefully we will have in future streams, right? Coming to Ishan, so Ishan, I'll probably stick to the midfield with you. So Chelsea's midfield in this round, right? So Jorginho for me has been like the mainstay of the Italian team, but Kovacic finally turned up, because Kovacic, if you remember the first couple of games, was kind of underwhelming for me. And he technically got an assist, although it was Modric's goal and assist put together, the worldie that Modric scored. But nevertheless, Kovacic was very much there for the passes. So I'll give you a tough choice, right? So given say Jorginho's performance as well as Kovacic's performance, firstly, who was better in this tournament? Secondly, given a choice, whom would you prefer in the Chelsea 11, or the best player in the tournament?
No, the second one is a bit more tough than the first one to answer, but then I think so. Yeah, Kovacic turned really well in the third game, and Jorginho has been the star performer. For I won't be wrong if I say he's been the best Chelsea player in Euros, alongside Kai Havertz, obviously. But then, yeah, definitely Kovacic. It's funny because Croatian as a whole team, Croatia, they haven't been performing very well in this Euros, and just in the last game they turned up. I'm not just talking about the goals and those stuffs, but the impact that they brought in the pitch. That was, I mean, that was way down the line in the first two games, and in the third game, they actually accelerated the sense of urgency and they tried to score more. They tried to create chances. What they did, that's where Kovacic becomes the main man, because we all know how good he is in recovering the ball and getting up, accelerating the ball and creating chances. That's what he did. And one thing that you can see from this last Croatian game is that Kovacic cannot win you a game alone. He needs the whole team to have that sense of urgency and that ignition in them. That hunger needs to be there to score goals, and that's where Kovacic played a big part. Assisted, he had one assist, and also the impact that he brought in. It was the whole Croatian team who contributed in that impact, and they played well. Coming to your next question, I think so I'll definitely have to pick Jorginho over Kovacic, because this man has been top notch, not just for Italy, also for Chelsea. Before the Euros. So I'll definitely, if you give me one options out of the two, I'll definitely have to pick Jorginho. He's been a top class player, and there were people who were trying to suspect him with the fact that listen, you had a good Champions League, now it's over for you. No, he's proved it again, and with a different team, with a different scenario, with a different formation, he proved it again. So we know that he's in a purple patch of his life. He can perform again for Chelsea. So definitely Jorginho had a better season.
Right. I'm just looking at the charts. I think chat, you guys are a little bit busy. Anyway, so hopefully, guys, you guys agree with what has been discussed. So I agree that, because Jorginho definitely for me has been underrated big time, and I believe that he should get more plaudits than he does. Like an Italian team, which is the best team in the tournament, and he's kind of leading the midfield. That tells you a lot, right? So definitely big up to him for sure, right? And yeah, then just continuing the conversation there, like in terms of Germany, right? So we mentioned briefly Kai Havertz. So Taron, like in terms of Kai Havertz and Timo Werner, I know Timo Werner has not been played enough, but do you think Kai Havertz, the way he's playing, is the way to go for Germany as well as for Chelsea? Like, and Timo Werner is probably the person who kind of, gets a change with his pace late on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to talk about Havertz's performances for Germany against Portugal, he looked like one of the best players on the pitch by far. Against Hungary, I would say apart from the goal, he didn't really do much in that game. But we've seen him playing in almost like a false nine role, and it's good that Tuchel's realised this. Lowe's realised this, and I'm sure both managers know that this is probably the best. We saw him playing as an attacking 8 a lot in the season. Last season, he was not like good at turning under tight spaces and trying to break out of pressure. Maybe not as good as Kovacic would, or some other players, Mason Mount. But when he's in that final third, he has that kind of brain that not many players have it naturally, where he knows where to be, when to be, the late runs, the passes, the quick movement, the runs to the left and the right, and to open up spaces in the middle. This guy knows that role perfectly, and it's just impressive to see. When Thomas Müller was absent from that game, Havertz was the only player I saw who was really trying to create something. You had Serge Gnabry, a Champions League winner on the pitch, who is arguably being one of the best wingers in the world over the last 2 years, and Havertz was that main player on the pitch who was really catching an eye. And he was experimented in a left inverted forward role and a right inverted forward role at the start of Tuchel's reign. The Wolves game, and I believe another game. But for me, it's clear to see he needs to be down the middle, dropping deep, and he can open up space. He knows that role very well. So yeah, on the point about Timo Werner, I mean, it's a bit harsh to say. I'd say to just be like a substitute, because when he's on the pitch, he offers a lot in terms of stretching the pitch open, pressing really well, being that main vocal point up front. Getting on the last line against Liverpool, against Man City. And yeah, I think next season it's going to be interesting because Haaland, is he going to join Chelsea? I'm not quite sure at the minute with all the rumours going around that it would have to be £600,000 a week, £150 million. It looks unlikely, and Havertz could be that main guy next year to step up and get the goals. Needs to get at least 15, 20 goals, in my opinion, next season if he wants to be our main striker. And for me, I'm looking at a guy who's really up to the challenge at the minute. He's only 22 years of age, and he's really stepping up to it. And Timo Werner as well. He hasn't played at the Euros, but people who watch Toss.C know, I'm a massive fan of Timo Werner, and I think he's a class player. So this German connection is really, really interesting and quite sexy, if I must say so myself.
Let's address this question, Ameya. Before you go, we'll have this question addressed by you, hopefully. So, how would
Yeah.
the Italy, Croatia, and France midfields compare with the Chelsea midfield?
Well, that's a very good question, I must say. Is it Mikhail? I think that's what the Dave says.
Yeah.
But I think they're all very, very different because, especially in our 3-4-3 system that we've played under Tuchel, it's just two midfielders, right? Mainly it's Jorginho and Kante usually. But we also see Kovacic sometimes thrown in there, sometimes Billy Gilmore as well. But all of these three midfields that he just mentioned all have three midfielders, don't they? Italy, of course, have Verratti, Locatelli, and Barella, all three fantastic midfielders, and none of them are, that attacking sort of midfielders. They're all the technical ball progressive sort of midfielders, and then they rely on the attackers and their quick passing and their interchange passing that helps them score all the goals that they've been scoring. I think they've scored 7 or 8 in the group stages. So I think their midfield it's so well balanced. Italy's midfield, I mean, they have a conundrum now, don't they? I mean, because Jorginho, Barella, and Locatelli played so well, but Verratti, when he played in the final game, he showed once again why he's literally one of the best midfielders in the world at PSG. So I mean, Roberto Mancini has some task at hand to try and fit them all, to try and pick 3 out of the 4. But I think their midfield is so technical and so it's just a purest midfield, isn't it? Which is why it looks like they can bounce the ball off of each other so easily, and which is why they never let go of the ball at all, right? Those three midfielders. The only time where they lose the ball is when it goes out for a goal kick or for a corner or for a save or something like that, or else they're always in possession of the ball. About Croatia's midfield, I think they've tried a couple of different things. I think the first time they started off with Brozovic, Modric, and Kovacic, but then I think for the Scotland game, they played with just a pivot, and then they played with 3 up front. They had Brekalo, Rebic, Kramaric, and Perisic up front. So I think they're not sure what their best midfield is, but I think if you watch the Modric Kovacic pivot, it shows that Kovacic isn't the complete midfielder yet, and he's great at what he does, but then he still does not, mark his men going back and that sort of stuff, which he has to improve if he wants to be a regular, especially at Chelsea. But when they play as a 3, then you can see what Kovacic is best at, isn't he? With Brozovic taking care of the defensive part of it, Kovacic and Modric link up beautifully, and he progresses the ball brilliantly, and he just gets out of every space, right? You give him like this much space and he's still going to dribble the ball out of it, which is what he does so well. And the last midfield, it was France, wasn't it? And the French midfield, once again, honestly, a Kante Pogba pivot to me is sufficient, but I think Didier Deschamps just wants to give Pogba that little more freedom, which is why he always plays with the 4-3-3. He plays with either Rabois or Tolisso alongside Kante and Pogba as well. And Kante, in fact, here he plays as the deepest midfielder, which he does not do at Chelsea. Lampard tried it, but I mean, realize that it doesn't work as effectively as he would have liked, especially to progress the ball. And it works for France mainly because they've got Pogba. I mean, let's be honest, he is one of the best midfielders in the world. He's so limited at Manchester United, but then when he's given that freedom next to N'Golo Kante, he just shows what range of passing he has. So that's how it's all different. I think none of their midfields are comparable to Chelsea's midfield at the moment. I mean, if we switch to the 4-3-3 next season, then maybe, but with the current 3-4-3 system, I think it's extremely different, and it just shows that they're so versatile, right? And they're doing their role so good. They're serving their country basically by playing such fantastic football, and all three have been top notch so far.
Yes. Yes, no, well put there, definitely, Maya. So I hope, Mikhail, your question is answered, because I definitely.
I think Ankit's Wi-Fi is going. Yeah.
Yep, I think he's back.
My Wi-Fi, actually, it's my Wi-Fi. yeah. So I was asking, Ameya, are you still around, or did you?
Nope, I've got to go, unfortunately. But thank you so much for having me on. Next time, I'll stay the full duration. The next time, for sure. The next time, hopefully, there is a next time when you get me on here, and that time I'll be sure to stay for the full duration.
No, thanks for having and coming on, definitely, and take care.
Anytime, man. Yep, have a good. See you, man.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Have a great stream, guys. Have a great stream.
Take care.
Take care. Okay, so we continue the stream. Now, Ishan, so I think the last bit of the players who represented their countries from Chelsea this particular week, right? I think our captain, fantastic, Aspilicueta, right? So obviously, first 2 games he did not play, and like they say, 11 Aspilicuetas win you tournaments, and he's just won you the first game, Spain. So that there is the secret for you, right? So Ishan, like, what role does Aspilicueta play in the Spanish side compared to Chelsea? You think what's the difference, and what is the contribution that really makes?
No, the biggest thing that I see is experience, and he's one of the most experienced players in Spain. And that's what Spain is lacking at this point of time. You see most of the experienced players have gone. Even the ones who are experienced are not featuring for them anymore, with the likes of Ramos and the other guys in the midfield. They had Xavi, Iniesta, and all those guys. Now they've retired. So it's the experience element that they need. Even if we see the other players in the Spanish side, we would definitely see that these guys are highly inexperienced to take on this big challenges in this country competitions. Because it's not easy. When you're representing for your country, it's not easy, and basically you do not play with those sets of guys for the majority part of your life, right? You play for once in 2 years or something like that. So it's difficult to gel up, and the more experienced you are, the more matter if you play for a club and for your country. When you're experienced, you know how.
I think Ishan's Wi-Fi is gone as well. I think Ishan was just mentioning about experience from the different players. Like he was talking about Jorginho and Kovacic, how you can show their experience when they're playing, especially Jorginho. Like how good does he look on the pitch right now? He's the guy who, if he's not on the pitch for Italy, then Barella and Locatelli don't play as well. He's improved so much in the Tuchel. Like I mentioned with Christensen, when you have a manager who shows so much confidence and so much faith in you, it makes you play better. For example, when I play Sunday League football, if my manager speaks to me and believes in the way I play, it makes me feel better on the pitch. And maybe with Tammy Abraham, with other players for Tuchel, it's not worked, but it always happens. And I think Ishan was just talking about how crucial Jorginho is, like this point says as well.
Right, absolutely. No, I agree that absolutely. Like for me, like he is a sure shot in midfield for us as well in the future, and definitely there's another person that we're going to look
guys,
at.
Can you hear me?
Oh yes. Yeah. Ishan is just about back. Yes, Ishan. So we just completed the point of Jorginho. Sorry. I think you were trying to make. Yeah. So I think that's a fair comment, and we agree there. Yes. So Ishan, so considering like the midfield as well as the options that we're looking at, in the national teams that are there, let's take a look at basically what are the kind of players that Chelsea are targeting and how they are performing in Euros, right? So we'll just go to the next session, guys, quickly. Okay. Yes. So, I'll continue the midfield conversation with Ishan, right? Because he, disconnected while we were on the chat. So, Ishan, like you would have seen in the short video as well, and we briefly discussed about Verratti, right? So, just yesterday, Verratti has been linked with Chelsea. Now, this is big news for me because I see Verratti as a great, kind of a replacement for a person who defends as well as attacks. Obviously, there's a caveat to that he's got to be fit, and which is the only concern that he only, has really in his career per se. But do you realistically see Ishan, firstly, Verratti, if he comes for, in Chelsea, would he be a starter? And at the same time, for Italy, like, Ameya was briefly discussing, right? Do you see him starting the next game?
Yeah. For Italy, it's difficult. It's a huge dilemma to solve, for Roberto Mancini. And I think so, it's difficult to, just like Ameya had said, it's difficult to select 3 out of 4. But you cannot neglect the likes of Verratti. The quality that he brings in the pitch, it is enormous. like Ameya said, he's one of the best midfielders in the world football. And talking about the links with Chelsea, I think so. It is possible. It's highly likely because he's played with Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel knows how this guy plays and what importance does he bring. Even Thomas Tuchel had said in his interviews that it's his dream to play Verratti and Kante in the one pitch, and in a pivotal role. So if that happens, it would be perfect for Chelsea as well as Thomas Tuchel. He knows who Verratti is and what are the qualities that he brings in the table. He's an absolute world class midfielder, and if we see one of we've already know that Billy Gilmore is heading out on loan. So we've got just got 3 options for 2 spaces, which is quite risky, right? You wouldn't want any one of them getting injured, and you'd see if any one of them unfortunately gets injured, then you'd see the other 2 guys starting regularly and having the risk getting burned out, the likes of Kante, that guy, to get burned out by any means. He's so important for us. So definitely one midfielder is very, very necessary for us. Links with Chelsea, I've seen 2 very strong links, which is one being Verratti and other being Tchouaméni. Yes, Declan Rice, people are howling about him, but then I don't think so that's realistic looking at the price tag that Declan Rice has beneath him. So definitely Tchouaméni, and I'm not sure about Tchouaméni's links, how much it has progressed, but then yes, if Marco Verratti comes in Chelsea, it will be very, very huge, and I'll be very excited if he comes. But again, selection dilemma, if again we play a back 3, then we'll have only 2 positions where we can play either of these 4 guys, right? With Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic and Verratti, we can play only 2 of them, and 2 of these guys will sit on the bench. So again, a selection dilemma arrives. But then yes, if we go for a back 4, which we're getting hints that we might go to a back 4, and then we'll have an extra midfielder in the pitch, so we can have Verratti, Kante and Jorginho, or maybe a Kovacic. So that'll be a good plan. As far as Chelsea's formation is considered for the next season, I think so if we don't get Hakimi, which we are not getting basically, then I think so Thomas Tuchel will plan to a heavy shift to a back 4 rather than a back 3, because he would like to have one extra attacker as an option.
I agree there as well. Definitely we'll have to be flexible. Taron, Ishan said, if we are not able to get Hakimi, which is more likely now, and we are probably linked with midfielders, so why don't we play with that extra midfielder and have that, pacey wing back in, say, Adama Traore. Traore came on, I think, for Spain towards the latter stages of the game. But do you see, there has also been talk, Taron, that Traore was probably Tuchel's first choice, and Hakimi was probably looked at because of the fact that he looked at him previously while at PSG, due defensive-minded wing-back.
Yeah, I think Hakimi was the first choice, if I'm not mistaken. Traore was not seen as a first-choice option for a lot of times. For obvious reasons, Hakimi was obviously the best right wing-back in the world, so I agree with that. But yeah, you mentioned Traore. He came on for Spain. He didn't really do much. For me, my issue with Traore is his end product has never been... I think a lot of people agree with that. Yes, he can drive at players, but I don't really see a point when you can't assist. And we've seen with Traore last season, he really struggled without Raul Jimenez next to him. He needed a big target man when Fabio Silva came in, when Willie and Jose came in. It wasn't quite the same. And you look at Chelsea, we have Havertz, who's not really a big target man, who's going to really throw his body and be in the right positions at all times. So yeah, I don't think Traore would be a very good suit. For me personally, I don't know if it's the right say right now, but I really rate Denzel Dumfries. I don't know if he's linked with Chelsea at the minute, but the Euros, he's been well-class, in my opinion, and as a right wing-back, I think he's up there with the best, exactly. Netherlands, KNVB, yeah, that's the one. And yeah, I think Dumfries is absolutely world-class, in my opinion, in that role. Obviously, Dumfries hasn't had the tests against your big nations. He's only played Austria, Ukraine, North Macedonia, but I reckon he does have, you can see on your eye, he does have it in his locker to play against these big teams. And yeah, for me, Dumfries should be an option that Chelsea should go for. But, Traore is not for me. I don't really think a player is good because of their strength and he should be doing weightlifting, in my opinion. He's not really a natural footballer. And, Hakimi was my first choice as well. But I don't think Hakimi's coming anymore, unfortunately. He got some discussions with his wife, who clearly has a lot of power over him. And yeah, that's happening. But, I would really like to see Denzel Dumfries. And yeah, we'll look at some of these questions. If you play a back 3 next season, we need a goal threat from midfield. For me, that could be Ruben Loftus-Cheek if he comes back in next season. Only 1 or 2 attacking options can be rotated. Yeah, as Sean was saying, when we have 4 midfielders, we'll have Verratti, Jorginho, we'll have Kante, and then Kovacic. And I think a lot of people were saying we need to improve these positions, but it affects the whole harmony of the team. If we have Verratti and then 3 other world-class midfielders, where's the kind of balance with the team? Man City, they have that, but I think there is still a good balance there. There's rotation, there's good, but Verratti is going to want to be the main man, Kova, Georgie, and it's going to cause a bit of unrest, in my opinion, in midfield. So I don't agree with them improving a lot position thing. I think it really caused upset as a Sunday League player as well. I do agree with that, and yeah, I mean that's kind of my take on that particular question.
Yeah, I think I'll go with you, because the reason being that if you're the 4th choice midfielder like Gilmore, experienced last summer, like you're not going to play more than 10 games. Like that's a fact. No matter we have 60 games or whatever, I think 35 games of those are a must-win game for Chelsea, right? We are not going to rotate whatsoever in those games unless it's an injury. And the remaining 20-25 games are like all cup games and stuff like that, where you don't think Verratti will be happy playing there or Jorginho will be happy playing just there. And so addressing this question from Mikhail, right? Again, I would say most important signing is still the striker, Ishan. I don't know if you agree. So do you see that Lukaku is still a viable option, because he's uprooting trees still in the Euros, right? Even this week he scored a goal, as well as I believe he got an offside goal, so just a tinge offside, he would have got a brace again. So Lukaku for me has improved tenfold. Like I don't know why it's just the mindset that he's just the same player. No, he isn't. Ishan, what do you think, that we should go all out for Lukaku instead of Haaland?
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been saying this right from the beginning, that we need a striker. Even if we buy a striker this transfer season and we don't buy anything, be it Lukaku or be it Haaland or maybe a Kane, if that's a possibility, then it's perfect transfer season for us. We don't need anything. Why mend something which is not broken, like they say. Even people are talking about our midfielders. We have ample of options. We could have also not sent Billy Gilmore on loan, and then we could have just shuffled Billy Gilmore and played him more. But then not signing a striker, we're again in that same. Again, we're on the same bubble, in that same loop that's going to finish things for us, because Werner is definitely not getting the game time even in Euros. So Kai Havertz has been filling up his shoes in Chelsea as well. I'm not sure how well Kai Havertz will do in the next season if he plays for a false 9 for the whole season. I'm not sure how that happened. I'm not also sure what Batshuayi is going to do in Chelsea if he does not go out for a loan or another transfer. If he plays for Chelsea, I'm not sure how much gaming time but he'll get. But I can assure you that even he's not going to be that clinical that we are expecting, because the number of chances that we are creating as midfielders and as defenders, it is enormous. And we need the likes of Lukaku or a Haaland to be very, very clinical, and to challenge a title, we definitely need a striker. I'm saying this from day one. And if we don't sign a striker, I'm really afraid that we are, reaching that situation where we are running out of options. Very sadly, Haaland, it's getting difficult to think about Haaland day in, day out, because the whole scenario regarding Haaland is quite difficult, right? The player wants Real Madrid, Bayern Munich is having some other plans back at the back doors trying to sign him. Also, we've got Mino Raiola's problem that he has with different clubs with different angles. So it's quite complicated. It's not that simple. The Haaland talks that we are doing. Definitely, Harry Kane is Harry Kane would be the last guy that we'd approach. Also, Harry Kane would come to Chelsea. I don't think so that's happening. He would come last. Chelsea would be the last club that he'd be coming to. And definitely Lukaku, he opened up very clearly. He said that, I'm staying at Inter. I'm very happy. And also Inzaghi is very much happy and looking forward to work with Lukaku. So even that seems difficult. So, looking out of options, people are talking about Lewandowski, but that is more tough than Haaland. I mean, come on. That guy has just slapped in 41 goals, breaking Gerard Muller's record in Bundesliga. That is colossal. And you're telling me that Bayern Munich is going to sell that guy to another rival who's going to challenge them for the Champions League next year? I don't see that's happening. So unfortunately we're running out of options. But then definitely 100% true, we need a striker. I'm not sure if the other options that people are bringing in about Alexander Isaac and all those guys, Andre Silva, I'm not sure if those links are very much true. But then one thing that I can sense from here is that Chelsea it'll be difficult. It'll be difficult if Chelsea signs any striker. I'll be surprised, because now it's very dusty when it comes to striker situations.
No, I get that. Like, definitely, we are getting to that phase of the transfer window almost there, Taron. I know that Euros are going on, and like Ishan mentioned, like, Isaac has been doing well, but is he that striker who would give you 25 goals a season in Chelsea? I'm not too sure personally. But let's address this question a different way from Mikhail, right? So, would the panel want to see Conor Gallagher and RLC in rotation for Chelsea midfield next season? Rather than that, I'll put it this way, Taron, to you. Like, given the choice of that fourth midfielder who can play number 6 as well as number 8 and number 10, like an RLC or a Conor Gallagher, versus just go and get a Grealish, right? Because Grealish is something else. Like, he's probably closest to what Hazard was, right? I know that, again, that'll kind of create a rift in the team. But like Ishan said, we're not getting those strikers. So the next big thing is get that attacking midfielder who would get you those assists and win you penalties, which probably Grealish would. Would you go for that, or go with like a striker and maybe a younger attacking midfielder like Conor Gallagher?
Yeah, it's a difficult question. I mean, my personal opinion is I'd want Conor Gallagher and Loftus-Cheek in our squad next season, because Gilmour's, like Ishan said, is going to go out on loan to Norwich, is very, very likely at the minute. And Conor Gallagher can play double six. In my opinion, he can potentially play further forward. Same with Loftus-Cheek. It's not like they're strictly pivot players. They can offer us false nine, left inverted, right inverted forward, pivot, and they can play pretty much everywhere along the front and midfield. So that's a big, big bonus. We do need more squad depth next season. We have the Super Cup, we have the African Cup of Nations where we could lose some players. I mean, I think we only have Mendy and maybe a few, I don't really know, Ziyech and maybe a few other players. But yeah, apart from that, the Grealish thing, what you said has really made me think about that, because, he wins fouls like Hazard. He has that X factor. He's a player who you pay money to come to stadiums and watch him play. And I think, if we don't sign a striker, we need goals from somewhere else next season. We need a finisher. We need a world-class sister and someone to get on the end of moves. I'm not sure if Grealish is that player who will get on the end of moves all the time. And he's a guy who will create moves. I mean, he's not really a lethal goal scorer. He's a guy who will create more chances. And our issue is not creating chances, it's finishing chances. And do we sign a striker? Do we stick with Kai Havertz next season? Do we stick with what we've got? Do we go for Alexander Isak? It's difficult. I don't think Isak was much better than Abraham was when he was that age. Abraham, when he was playing for Swansea and Bristol City and other players and other teams, he was doing a similar thing. He was really agile, really quick, and a great finisher. And I think Isak's quite similar to that. So the Isak train, not for me at all. We have to look for a striker, and that's the only thing. As I said before in this stream, my first option is Harry Kane. And I know it's completely unlikely. It's never going to happen with Daniel Levy, but this guy is guaranteed to get us at least 20 goals a season, even 20 assists a season. And if we get Harry Kane, we are definitely, in my opinion, going to win the Premier League next season. We're potentially going to win the Champions League. That's all we're missing, is the Harry Kane type player who's going to score the goals and get more assists. And, it's unlikely. And it's put us in a difficult situation when we have to look at alternatives. And this club does not usually favour alternatives. The Morata thing was a last straw for this club. If we can't sign our second option, don't sign anyone. It's difficult. I don't know what's going to happen. Me personally, the most realistic thing that's going to happen is Kai Havertz is going to be placed next season and be made our main striker if we can't go for these other options. I don't think the board is going to go for a second choice or go for 150 million striker. And I think Havertz can do it. I mean, this season he's missed great chances against Arsenal, against other teams. Against Palace, he missed about 3 or 4 open goals. Not open goals, but big chances. But I think Havertz, really, if we really take time and develop him, Thomas Tuchel can really get him in pre-season to be that main player. I think Havertz can be good enough next season to be our main guy. And I fully believe that. I believe in this player. And I think he's a very good goal scorer. And, if we get Loftus-Cheek in to compete in that false nine role, if we get Gallagher, if we can get, someone else, maybe Abraham, to get more minutes next season, it's going to be a big fight. But me personally, I want Havertz to come in. And, the Grealish thing, I don't think it's a very smart option, considering he's more of an assist player. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of my take on that as well.
Yeah, I kind of get you there, definitely. Like, I trust Havertz. I call him King Kai as well, like you saw in the last stream as well, guys. So, you know what? Let's look at what other players are there, which probably, we're not really talking about. And we might have really, just explored them in the Euros, right? So We'll just quickly head to the next section, guys. Okay, so I'd like to start off here, right? Like, definitely, like you saw the 4 options there. This is like real scouting, which I personally love. I know that Taron loves, and I'm sure that Ishan would love to have some young players in as well. One player who probably is, under the radar, has not been linked with many clubs. I think Liverpool are recently, reported to have been chasing him, but I don't think that he's probably going to be signed by Liverpool. This is actually Daniel Malen of Netherlands. So this guy, I know that he's been playing in the Dutch league, and Dutch league is, as they say, one of the farmers' league, etc., etc. But if you actually see the third game which happened in this game week, right, as in he has the movement which Thomas Tuchel really strives on, and plus he has the strength as well. And like the panel said, like I agree that Kai Havertz will be a number 1 striker, but we need someone other than Werner to also take pressure off from the Chelsea strikers, and that is where Malen can come in, and he can play in a 2-man up front as well. He actually scored 25 goals in 45 appearances. In 41 appearances, in the Dutch league. And the other man that I've also highlighted here is obviously Ryan Gravenberch. Again, being a Dutch supporter, needless to say, but I have to wear my neutral hat on here, right? I would say that Ryan Gravenberch is a mixture of Paul Pogba and guess who? Yes, he is a mixture of Paul Pogba and Patrick Vieira. I am not just saying for the sake of it, but I've actually watched a lot of this guy, and he's just 19. He's broken records left, right, and center. And I think he's broken record like being the youngest player to have represented Ajax after Clarence Seedorf, and that is some shoes to fill. And he's already scored at international level as well as club level. In the 2 games the Netherlands had towards the end, I saw that Gravenberch probably stabilized their midfield compared to what in the first game happened, right? As in Ukraine, the game was topsy-turvy, and that was avoided by Gravenberch coming on in the second game, and then third game he started, and they never conceded, right? So I don't know. These are my 2 shouts on the Netherlands, being softly biased. But I'll start at Taron. Taron, any names that you would like to pick from there, or anyone else that noticed in this particular game week that Chelsea can look at to score goals or assist?
Yeah, he's not really a player that I think Chelsea would look at maybe. But if we're looking at a really, really good young player who I've watched and I think he's Hudson-Odoi to a new level, it'd probably be Jeremy Doku. And, I've heard of him before. We played against him against Rennes twice, and he didn't really do much. He had a difficult few games. But in that game against, I believe it was, who was it again when Belgium played? I don't know off the top of my head. He was absolutely class. He has the agility and balance of Eden Hazard. He has the dribbling. He has the strength. He has the pace. And I just really like the look of this player. He's not scared to take players on, You've seen players in big competitions that be a little bit hesitant. They'd be, less calm. It's a big game. I don't want to take a risk. But this guy in a European Championship group stage game is driving at all of these first-team defenders, trying to create something. Show Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard was playing on the opposite kind of wing, and he was out of the game. Jeremy Doku was the main standout player. To be, the best player on the pitch when Eden Hazard is right next to you, that is enough for myself. And Hudson-Odoi, we've had a lot of criticism of him in the final third. He's not really done enough. Even Lampard was saying he needs more goals from that kind of Raheem Sterling position, that Sadio Mane position. Hudson-Odoi wasn't really doing that. But, Hudson-Odoi in the final third, he doesn't take as many risks as Doku, and I really like what this guy does. I'm really impressed by him. And, Chelsea, if they are looking for a young player, it would be very, very expensive to sign Doku after his move to Rennes. It would be 70 million, something similar to that. He is doubted to be one of the best players in the generation for Belgium. He was played at the age of 17. He was given his debut, and he's clearly going to be one of Belgium's best players. He's going to be that replacement for Hazard, even the replacement for De Bruyne, if you can talk about that. He's a real talent from that game, and I believe he might even start the next game for Belgium in the round of 16 against Portugal. He was that good in that game, and at the age of 19 or 18, what more can you ask from this player? He's done everything you need, and it's just the goals maybe from the final third that you miss, and then you have a real talent in your hands there.
Yeah. I definitely saw a lot of potential there, and reminded me of those young Hudson-Odoi days under Sari, right? And even more because he has the strength as well, like you said. Another name that Ishan, obviously I've included there is Pessina. Like he was, I think, a replacement in the Italian squad. He wasn't named in the original squad, for Italy, and then I think he replaced Stefano Sensi, and then he really came on and scored that goal. It's just not the goal, the entire combination play that he has. Like I think another player from Atlanta are like really having a lot of good players in there right now. And compared to Doku, right? I know that Pessina is more of a midfielder, central midfielder, so as to speak, but he has goals in him. And uh, the fact that Doku is, I think his contract is getting over only in 2024, so obviously it'll cost a lot of money. Compared to that, I think this guy's I think getting over at 2022. And another shout out would be Daamsgaard for Denmark. Like he scored that wonder goal. He has just a couple of years left in his contract. So would you go with people who have potential, in the scouting department, and get them in and maybe loan them back for like 6 months, like what we did, with Pulisic, for instance, previously, and then maybe get them next year? Or do you have some other name that you would like to recommend?
No, first of all, spot on what Taron said. I was really impressed with Jeremy Doku. He's a top talent, and he'll get more games, knowing the fact that Hazard, he's struggling with his injuries time and time again. So Doku comes in and fills his shoes, definitely. And Pessina, talking about Pessina, the way he's played in the last match week with Italy, I mean, wow, it was such a delightful to watch him and Jorginho and Verratti getting the link up plays. It was a pleasure to watch that guy. Also the goals, as a football fan, with the eye test that I see, I don't rate. The goals are there for the coming, it's fine, but then the impact that a player brings in the pitch, that is what impresses me the most. And that guy brought the impact. Same goes with Jeremy Doku, to what Taron says, the impact that these two guys brought in their respective match days. It was immense. And definitely, the future definitely bright. I hope they extend their form in this Euro segment as well. And like Taron said, I hope Doku gets his game time in the upcoming games as well. This goes for the same with Pasina as well. It'll be very interesting to see these guys. And we all know these two teams, Belgium and Italy, they're one of the two of the strongest teams in this competition. And these two guys, the impact that they've brought in their respective teams, it is immense. And not just the pace, speed, and acceleration, but also the vision, the decision making that these guys have, being so young. It is very much impressive, and this can only get better as they get experienced. Yeah. So I think so. I am very much looking forward to it. But then talking about Chelsea's point of view, Chelsea. We as Chelsea fans, we also like to see at our academy players, because our academy is so highly calibrated, and there are lots of high talented players coming out of our academy. But then a nice point by you, Ankit, as well, is that there are midfielders that we need to look upon when it comes to that. So yeah, definitely, I think so. There are midfielders that we need to scout. In terms of defending and attacking, we have people, but then yes, midfielders that are definitely we need to scout upon.
Yeah, I think some great points made there, guys. So the lot of options there, right? As in our academy as well as in the Euros, like you can see, and we got to kind of sign them before they score two more goals in the knockout phase. And so yeah, let's get to the knockout phase, guys. And I think it's the crunch time is getting closer, so we'll probably get there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly share my screen with you all, and obviously I would like the chat also to get involved here, and we will probably go one by one, right? Otherwise, the debate is going to be never ending, and we'll probably miss the kickoff for tonight. And we're going to have some predictions made for the round of 16. So just give me a second. I'm just trying to open the website, and let me share my screen. Okay. So here you go. I hope you're able to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start off with whoever kind of gets the call for his team kind of is lucky. That's all I can say. I hope I get Netherlands when my turn comes. But yeah, I'll start off with Taron comes first, right? So Taron, I think obviously as per the draw here will go, not as per the fixtures tonight. So first is Belgium, Portugal, the big one. Whom do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Belgium. I don't rate Portugal very highly at all, to be honest. I don't know if you want me to give more details on that, but I'm not a Portugal fan, to be honest, of their squad.
I'm with you there. So I would have no debate whatsoever, and I'm agreeing there because it's like 2 out of 3 are agreeing. So Ishan, sorry if you went for Portugal, but we are going for Belgium, right?
I support Belgium. Come on, I can.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And then I don't know what the chat thinks. I think I just see a comment there from saying that he sees Belgium winning. Yeah, as in they're definitely the form team after Italy. As in that's a fact, right? Obviously the big one, Ishan, Italy, Austria, big one in terms of Italy being the favorites. You think they'll stand to that potential, or they'll choke? Because it never happened that Italy performs so well in the group stage and goes on to win. Very rarely does it happen. So is it going to be like them peaking at the wrong time, or you think they are too strong for Austria?
Now, Italy is looking absolutely solid, man. Not just in terms of defending, but also in terms of attacking as well. So definitely it has to be Italy. Austria, surprised us with their performance, and they were pretty much good with the games they played. But then Italy is a big ask. They have performed the best. Let's say they're the best performing team in the group stages. So definitely Italy, hands down.
Right, as in that's a tasty tie. We'll come back to that. Belgium, Italy. Taron, coming back to you, or rather, let me pick. I think I should get a pick as well, right? To be fair, so it is France and Switzerland. You know what? I watched the Switzerland game very closely, and I heard that they probably had an easy game in Turkey. For me, it wasn't an easy game. I saw Turkey finally turning up and Switzerland performing really well and taking that pressure on. Having said that, I hope you guys will agree that France are just about too good. I see this going to extra time, but I see France, scraping through, and we'll probably get to third gear. I think they're currently in second gear. I don't know, you guys agree, but I'm going with France, right?
I disagree, Ankit. I disagree.
Oh wow!
I think Switzerland are going to go through. Yeah, I think Switzerland will go through. Yeah,
no.
I think Switzerland are going to do it. I seriously think Switzerland. France have not impressed me at all in any of their games they played. Maybe the first game they're okay, but they don't look the same as they were at the World Cup or anything. Switzerland have started to come into form recently. Shaqiri, when he's playing with a lot of confidence, he's one of the best players of this tournament, and I think Switzerland are going to pull up an upset. And we can come back to this, in a few days. Okay. I'm looking at my calendar. You can come back to this, guys. I'll clip this a bit on my Twitter, and I'll laugh at you in a shot.
Wow, you know what? I have also told that it will be a very close game. Like I'm predicting extra time, so that tells me that yes, I rate the Switzerland wing backs very highly. Like they're probably, we didn't mention them in the scouting, but I feel that Switzerland wing backs are definitely to be scouted as well, and they are sure shot targets after the Euros. Yes, if they click and get those passes onto Shaqiri and Seferovic, I can see like a 1-2 kind of goal happening again. But France, you know what, they're just too good in my opinion overall. Like they'll probably get that Coleman in extra time and get that assist. I can see that happening, and just kind of predicting with Kante coming to form when it matters, right? As in, that's what I would say, like winning all the balls in midfield. But anyway, coming to Taron, I'll have you pick this one for sure by yourself, right? Croatia, Spain. I hope you go for the one I'm thinking you would go for. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going for Spain here. I'm not impressed with Croatia as well. I'm not impressed with the way they played their aging kind of squad at the minute. Doesn't impress me. Spain beat Slovakia 5-0. Yes, Slovakia were poor, but Spain had to beat what's in front of them, and I thought they played really well. And as long as they don't start Morata up front, I think they'll be good. So yeah, I'm going to go with Spain.
Right. So I think as in Croatia, Spain, it's certainly interesting because I feel that they were kind of in a way lucky in the final game. We didn't speak about Dubravka, but the kind of goalkeeping error that he made was probably giving them the momentum in that game, in spite of the penalty, save that he had. But yes, Spain probably, if Pedri is continuing the form that he's having, then I can see that happening as well. So, that's fair enough. Coming back to you, Ishan, Sweden, Ukraine. Now, this is basically two yellow sides. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Sweden should be comfortably pulling this off because they've shown more intent than Ukraine in this tournament. Ukraine has been very good, but then the way Sweden fought themselves through to the quarterfinals, through to the group stages, that was really impressive, and the intent has been definitely way above what Ukraine can show. So definitely Sweden.
Yes, I think that was an easy choice because yes, I think Ukraine are probably one of the lucky teams who escaped through, in the group stage. I feel because they were great in the first game, but definitely not so good in the second, and the third games for me. And I think now it's my turn, right? So I'll pick England, Germany. Guys in the chat, I don't know, England, Germany. I'm kind of stuck in between, to be honest.
Make the right choice, Ankit. Make the right choice. You have an English guy chilling here. Make the right choice.
Yeah, you know what? Although I can say that I know England is my second team, but Germany have that grit, and they've kind of come back from games, in the games that they've had in the last two ones, especially. But you know what? I can see England for a change playing with Jack Grealish up front, like along with obviously Kane, and them clicking together. So I can see England getting that odd goal, and they're probably better off in terms of defense. Like that. That's my logic. I don't know if you guys are with that or you disagree.
No, I'm with that. I think
Taron cannot disagree. Taron cannot disagree with that. No, but I think it'll be a difficult game. It'll be a difficult game. I want England to win this because I really like the squad that they have. Also knowing that the fact that there are three guys from two guys from Chelsea Academy and three guys from Chelsea playing 11. So I really want England to progress, but I think so they'll get tough competition from Germany as well.
Yes, totally. As this will be like the game to watch. Hopefully, that's not like those draws games that we have, with two big teams playing. But anyway, okay. So I missed the chance of Netherlands, Czech Republic. I believe it is Taron's chance. Taron, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with your favorite anchor here. I'm gonna go Netherlands. I actually predict Netherlands to win the whole thing. Me personally, I think they will win the whole thing. So I'm putting Netherlands through to win this. Yeah.
Man, like touch wood. I'm like looking forward now. Anyway, and okay, yes, Bear, big up, and yes. So I think the last one that we have, I think tonight is Wales Denmark. Ishan, I'll go with you. Wales Denmark. You think Wales are just about having enough in their arsenal, or you think Denmark have the momentum?
Nah, put Denmark ahead, man. Let's go, Christian Eriksen, my man. The Wales have been, they've not impressed me at all this season. They've been absolutely dead food. Gareth Bale has been, slapping balls away, missing penalties and whatnot. They've been awful. But then, yes, they fought their way through the group stage and kudos to them. But then I think so Denmark should win this comfortably.
Yes, I agree, and I don't know if Rich is still around in the comments. Sorry, Rich. I know that you probably wanted me to pick Wales, and I think in the earlier predictions that we had, we predicted Wales to come out of the group. But yes, I don't see this either, going Wales' way. So that's fair call, Ishan. Okay, so here we have like the big guns here in the quarterfinals. So we'll just quickly go over. No discussions here. So this is where it comes like a lucky draw, right? And then we'll just go with that. And I'll come with you, or rather, I think it's my turn, right? Yes, my turn. So Belgium, Italy. Okay. Okay, guys, you Italian fans out there, I'm sorry, I'm going Belgium. I really feel that Lukaku is underrated, and he will turn up in a big game for a change, and Italy will probably lose out the momentum after making the changes that they did last game. No discussion there. Like I said, sorry about that, guys. Italian fans, I know on in chat is a big fan as well. Taron, I'll come to you with the next one, France, Spain.
Wow, Anki, you give me the most difficult one possible. No, I'm joking. I think I would have put Switzerland through. I know that's probably the most debatable thing that I've done in the stream. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with France. If it is France v Spain, I think France will probably go through. Spain, Yeah, they're good, but I'm not gonna lie. Spain, they were good against Slovakia, but are they? Is there really anything there? I don't think so. It doesn't look like a. I mean, Azpi did change a lot. To be fair, I'll give that to him. But apart from that, I don't rate their current system at all. I don't think it's amazing. So yeah, France.
Yeah, agreed there. And coming back to Ishan, I think this one should be easy, right? Sweden, England, or is it easy?
It's funny how England, likes to make easy games difficult. That's not in my hands. But then here, England should win this. I really hope Sweden don't disappoint the English fans. But then England are way too good for Sweden in terms of the team list that they have. But then yes, England, they've just won 1-0, 1-0 against the easiest teams as well. So I really hope they pull their socks up in this tie and get things done easily. So England, yeah.
Okay, I'll go with that as well. Like, hopefully, fingers crossed, England does the job, Taron, for you and me. Anyway, I think, I get Netherlands' choice to make. Anyway, I knew that Taron will go for Netherlands. And without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going with Netherlands here because I genuinely feel that, I think Wijnaldum, the way he's playing, is a great leader. And for a change, Netherlands will have a leader on the pitch as well. So, yeah, I think we have the semis here and the big finals. Taron, semis, who gets into the finals between Belgium and France this time?
Yeah, if you don't mind, just quickly on the Wales-Denmark game, I think Wales will actually win that game today. Just come back to that as well. Just trust me, guys. Wales will win that game. But on the Belgium versus France game, yeah, this was, I believe, the same game as the Euros in 2016 semis, I think, where Green scored the winning goal. So, yeah, that's going to be a nice grudge match. Same with Sweden, England, which is the same as the World Cup quarterfinals. So, yeah, that's going to be a big game as well. For this particular game, yeah, I'm going with Belgium, guys. I know you're probably going to disagree with me. I think Belgium just blown me away so far in this tournament. Maybe Jason Denayer, not the greatest defender. But in terms of their midfield with De Bruyne and Tielemans, they have Doku, Hazard. On the wing backs, they have Thomas Meunier and Torgan Hazard. I think it's a very good team. So I'm going to go with Belgium to make the Euros final.
Yeah, you know what? I'll have to kind of brag a little bit here, guys. Just coming back, guys, check out the description below. There is basically the entire prediction already from the beginning till the end. And trust me, the way it's going right now with our predictions, it's still falling in place. So my original predictions do not change either. Just letting you know, guys, out there. I hope it happens for me and Taron. Coming to you, Ishan, England, Netherlands, the big one. Don't break my heart there. But yeah, both the teams are something that I follow. So I don't think I can really say that. Let's go with the best one, right?
Nah, absolutely. I think so. This is a difficult one. This is an actual difficult one, because Netherlands have been absolutely flawless with their attacking terms. The whole season, the whole 3 matches that they've played, they've been absolutely blistering. Talking about England, they haven't got all the goals, although they've got all the names who can score the goals. So that doesn't make sense regards to England scoring goals. So it's going to be difficult to decide who gets it, but it's difficult to choose. I don't know, man. I think so. I'll go with Netherlands. It's a wild guess. Don't block me, Taron. Then, yeah, I think so. Netherlands.
Taron already said that he is, predicting Netherlands to win the whole thing. So I think I'll go with that as well, right? As in, fair enough. It'll be a close game for sure. Attack versus defense, and it'll be interesting to watch. I hope that comes through. And yes, the big one. I think it comes to me, but let's take a consensus, guys, for this one. It's a final. So Belgium, Netherlands, my vote, goes to Belgium. Unfortunately, I have to say, I can't believe I'm picking Belgium, my third team, but yes, Belgium to win against Netherlands is what I'm saying, and Netherlands to win another final. So to lose another final rather. Taron, what's your vote?
Yeah, quickly, where are Italy on the thing? I haven't seen Italy in this knockout. Did we already talk about that?
I knocked them out. I knocked them out against Belgium.
Oh, against Belgium. Okay. No worries. I was just wondering. Yeah, I'm gonna go Belgium purely for the fact of I don't rate Frank de Boer to be, maybe a cup final winning manager after watching him at Crystal Palace. That's probably the only factor I'd say. And the Netherlands in the first game defensively, they were really, really bad. And when De Ligt came in, they looked amazing again. So. Yeah, Belgium for me with Lukaku, De Bruyne, like I said, yeah, I think Belgium will probably win the Euros. And England to go out, I'm going to agree with that. I don't rate Southgate too much. I know I'm very biased, but he's about to sign a new deal as well as England manager. I don't get that. But yeah, oh well. I say Belgium will win. I think it is really, really likely this year.
Yep. So obviously, I'm not going to Ishan there because Ishan's favorite team is Belgium, like he said. So I'm assuming Ishan, you're going for Belgium, and it's okay if you don't pick Netherlands. We'll be okay because Belgium is something that Hazard being there. I hope Hazard gets that winner and gets that confidence back. And yeah, guys, I think we have, and obviously, I'm going to download this and share with you all after the stream. So you guys can come back to RCBian Chelsea Fan TV and Taron, and their contacts are below, so you can definitely troll us or whatever you want to do, but just for banter, right? So I think we've come to the end of the stream. Wow, it's been over an hour and we've been going on discussing. Fun stream for me. I don't know about you guys. Taron, thanks for coming on again, and I hope to have you back. Definitely you can talk about your podcast again if you want. Go ahead, mate.
Thank you for having me on, Ankit. Seriously, it's all my pleasure to come on. For you to invite me, it's a big pleasure. And yeah, if you don't mind talking about my podcast a little bit, yeah, right now, anyone in the chat, Strip Bear, Chelsea Perspective, you've been on it before. Steve Chelsea, if you ever want to appear on the podcast, just message me on Twitter at CFC Taron. I'll get you on. We have 16 more episodes to go, 15 more episodes until the end. So we've done 15 so far. Quick 25-minute podcast a day. Ankit's been on it. He knows what it's like to come on. I think he's had good recommendations. And yeah, if you want to check it out, go on Spotify, Apple, the Perfect Hatrick podcast with only one T in the Hatrick. And yeah, just check it out. It's just a chill podcast. We just vibe and talk about football. It's all great vibes. And yeah, if you want to check that out, be my guest and we'll have you on.
Yeah, sure thing, Taron. Good stuff. And Ishan, great to have you first time. Definitely first of many, I hope. Definitely, great to listen to you, right? As in, we've been there listening to you for hours together. And let's kind of get together for more Chelsea talks and anything that you'd like to share, Ishan, with the chat or with us.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me here, Ankit. It's been a great show. Definitely my first show here in your channel, and I definitely loved it and looking forward for more. Talking about the chat, thank you for being with us, and you'll find me more here, definitely. Yeah. So thank you, guys.
Great stuff. Yeah. Yes, guys. So smash that like button, and more importantly, take a look at the description below. All our contacts are there. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, as well as on YouTube and Spotify, respectively. So definitely, looking forward to more connections. And yes, we'll be back with more content. We are looking at covering the transfer window for sure on this channel, as well as you can follow me on Twitter, and you'll hopefully get a few updates there as well. And yes, for cricket lovers out there, unfortunately, yes, my team India lost the last big game, but we will be back stronger in July with next tour. So hopefully we'll have more to discuss positively for sure, right? And till then, take care, guys, and have a good one.